Draymond Green, gets suspended for a game. Joe Dumars is the vice president in charge of discipline. I can't imagine what he thinks has happened to his NBA, given that he played with Rodman and Lambeer, and this is getting Draymond Green suspended, which I think most reasonable people who aren't clouded by emotion are saying, man, if Sabonis is grabbing him first, that might not warrant everything that he's getting. But I don't think, even though in the statement they said that his past is being held against him, it's the reputation. I thought also what got him suspended wasn't just the act and wasn't just his resume. You cannot have him doing, even though I enjoyed it, what he was inciting afterward, where he's screaming pussy and all sorts of other things at the crowd, at the customers. He's standing on the bench and he's just screaming again and again these things that are inciting, and it's as if we've forgotten Malice at the Palace. It's as if we've forgotten that during the pandemic that they were throwing popcorn, they were spitting on Trae Young, fans were, and throwing popcorn at Russell Westbrook. They cannot have that escalate to that place. I don't know whether they can say that because they didn't say it, but I assume that's why he also got the suspension, all of those ingredients.
Yeah, the technical term is failure to leave the court in a timely manner. That's the catch-all for whenever you're doing the kind of histrionics that he engaged in. But the exact quote from Dumars in the press release is, the suspension was based in part on Green's history of unsportsmanlike acts. They're playing it to you in black and white, and I said this yesterday. One would think that after what happened in 2016 would be enough of a traumatic experience for a competitor like Draymond Green that he would just at least think a little twice. And what he did in that game was unbridled, just no checks, no balances rage. And I don't care if Sabonis grabbed his ankle. Kick the guy. If he kicked him, I think, kind of try to kick his leg free, I think he could have gotten away with that. But the stomp, the jump up off of the chest, and then follow that up with cussing at the crowd and not leaving the court, and then no contrition in the post-game presser, not like, I got to do better, control my emotions, or even just no comment. For him to kind of relish in the idea that, they didn't call it, so I had to take matters in my own hand. All of it spells out to a disciplinary committee or disciplinary person that this guy is not regretful in any way. There's no remorse. And as a result, all those things lead up to, I got to come up with a punishment. It's going to be a suspension. I don't know if anyone could have been surprised about that.
The other detail, though, that I heard on the broadcast last night was that Adam Silver was in the building.
Yeah.
So Draymond Green was doing all of that with Adam Silver, the commissioner that all of us mock for being soft on players, as that guy is watching. And it felt like, it was surprising to me for two reasons. One, it felt like it was, if you're talking about the NBA as this pseudo, like Joe Dumars as the head of a pseudo criminal justice department. Like, okay, you're also rewarding Sabonis. Like, this is all gamesmanship. One guy got a major W off of the disciplinary program. The other aspect, though, is
the guy who started it is getting the giant reward.
Yes, his plan, grab Draymond and then see whatever happens. Like, that's an enormous, successful project that he just completed. The second thing, though, is that I felt like Adam Silver, if I'm him and I'm imagining myself being criticized from all sides as being too soft on players, as really not being that progressive, really only being, by comparison, progressive because I have alliances with young black celebrities, I'm thinking to myself, he's essentially daring me not to do this as he's staring at me, even if he's completely unaware that I'm actually here.
He might as well have been yelling the things he was yelling right at Adam Silver, in Adam Silver's face. And I would ask you this,
But why are we factoring those things in? Like Adam Silver just happened to be in the building. What Draymond Green did 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons ago. Why are we factoring that into this suspension? Because it seems ridiculous.
Well, Adam Silver spoke to Draymond Green after the Jordan Poole incident, which was a big incident, a hugely embarrassing one, and he got away with no real punishment.
No, it's because it's HR, Stu. It's not actually criminal justice. It's an HR issue.
I know, but it's an incident that he didn't start, and everyone seems to, to be bypassing that fact right there.
But he escalated
Draymond
it.
Green
People do
did
that.
not start it.
People do that stuff all the time. And
Mike,
you
you
don't
think
see
he
them
does it?
curb stomp their opponent.
Wait, but do you think he does it if his ankle isn't grabbed?
No, but that's not the original sin here. Like that he's being an agitator the way that Draymond Green would be an agitator, the way that most people do that to stop a fast break. Is it dirty pool? Yes. Is it something that is worthy of that kind of stomp? Absolutely not, especially when you have the history that Draymond Green has.
Stugotz, we talked about this yesterday. Dennis Rodman would do this with Karl Malone all the time, hook his arm and pull his shorts and all this stuff that's, like Mike said, is kind of dirty, kind of small tactics. But the idea is that Dennis Rodman is the master manipulator, and he gets Karl Malone out of his element, and boom, obviously the guy who retaliates is always the guy that gets caught because they usually miss the small stuff. It's the same thing here. The difference is Dennis Rodman was a 15 or 14-year vet at that time, and so was Karl Malone. He'd been in the league a while. These are two vets going at it. This is Draymond Green, 4-time champion. Dude, you've been here to the mountaintop so many times. You're going to got in your own game by a dude who's never been past the first round? When you're down 1-0 in a series, you got to have more poise than that. And
yes.
I'm here for, hey, Sabonis should have got fined or something for what he did. I'm fine with that. But there's no universe where it's like, well, Draymond was clearly justified in doing what he did.
Well, that's where I believe the Kings deserve a lot of credit for how they've handled this. Purely from the gamesmanship aspect, right? Like the Kings, first off, this press release came out after 11:30 p.m. last night. So this was not an easy decision. There was clearly debate. Joe Dumars, Adam Silver, all of these people around a table.
It was a weird time to have it a midnight suspension announced. It made me think that there's no other player in the NBA that would have been suspended for all of those same things being in play.
Well, the other aspect, though, that I was wondering about was what have the Kings been saying behind the scenes? Because this other report that said Sabonis may not actually play. Like, that to me is the trump card. If Sabonis cannot play, you cannot let Draymond Green play. And I believe that threat, Dan, that threat was the thing that Draymond got hoisted on. That was the Batard. The Kings out-Draymonded him gamesmanship-wise.
It's actually a Budapest gambit.
I mean, I think it's funny that they're saying Sabonis chest injury questionable, and I saw the videos after the game of him in celebration chest bumping all of his teammates.
Well, that's why you need the Kings defense attorney, man.
But
no, you never saw that. It's the X-ray is very troublesome now.
Is he actually injured? Because also Draymond was saying that his ankle was hurt. Correct? Like they were both.
That's a nice move by Draymond right there.
They were both claiming injuries. Do we think that Sabonis is actually hurt here? Because they listed him as questionable. Did they do that to get Draymond suspended?
The injury they're saying is bruised sternum. Right? Feels like Draymond's got a bruised ego right now.
There's big Salino and Barnes energy around this entire thing.
And
Just
John
like
Levine,
billboard
we're
lawyers
Miami.
diving in. Yes, exactly.
Best guess.
R.I.P.
Best guess. Does this happen to any? Do they do this? Do they suspend a player for a playoff game? Any other player in the league?
Nope.